Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
Greetings, good to be with you here on this first full week of the month of March here. I am meteorologist Marcus Bailey. Weather Weekly here for the week of March 6th, 2023. Of course, we'll look to the forecast ahead, but good to be with you. And just briefly here, just kind of looking back, my goodness. What a week last week. It was wild. We had severe weather. A couple of tornadoes were confirmed, EF1s. In the kind of on the Hancock-Madison County line, east central Indiana. Very limited damage. It was thankfully in rural areas. That was on Monday, the 27th, with some of the storms that came through. And again, really strong winds that day. Had some pretty hefty rainfall as well. And then not to be outdone, Friday, the 3rd. What a miserable day that was. Many areas picking up anywhere between 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. The winds were rough. There were areas that saw snow late. It was just a very interesting day. Now, we missed out on most of the severe weather on the 3rd. Thankfully, that stayed all in southern Indiana. There was a few tornado warnings there. There was some pretty nasty storms once you got south of the Ohio River. But we had our issues for sure. We had a lot of high water from some of the heavy rain we had on Friday the 3rd. You know, we had some power outages, trees down, power poles down because of the what we call gradient winds, or the non-thunderstorm related winds that were gusting as high as 50 miles per hour in some parts of our state. So, and this has been kind of a usual thing. And I guess I should mention that there is a podcast dedicated to this that we did several weeks ago. I'll have to look back here. It was episode 99. If you want to look back, it was done on November 29th, 2022. It's called What's with the Wind? And kind of focused on, at that point, why we had been so windy. And obviously, I think the pattern has actually even increased, because we've had at least once a week some of these big wind events where we've had to have wind advisories out there. So there is just a very active pattern. It can be related to the temperature swings that we do have. Just kind of, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, because I know a lot of you are tuning in for this particular podcast for the forecast, so I don't want to drag this on too much, but it was just a question that was addressed in my inbox a couple of times this week about why has it been so windy. Frankly, it's just because the pattern has been so active. And because the temperatures have had big swings, whether we're really, really warm and then you take a dive into chilly temperatures, but then we bounce right back. It is allowing for more of these wound up systems to kind of evolve. You always have to think that the Earth is trying to equal itself out, right? And these temperatures have been quite unusual. And so, things are still trying to get equaled out by the Earth. And that's what you get when you get these big storm complexes, that it's just trying to even things out a little bit. So we'll see if that pattern continues here. We've got the forecast, and of course, later on in the podcast, we'll give you the deep extent of the 8 to 14 day outlook and look at some stats as well. But let's go ahead and move forward. We are looking ahead to the forecast for the week of March 6th, 2023. That's coming up next on Weather Weekly. All right, let's go ahead and look ahead to the forecast for March 6th, 2023, first full week of the month of March. And we're going to start things off extremely mild if you're picking up on this here on the day of this podcast dropping, which is Monday morning, a mild day. Really, really nice. Think you're going to love it here. I've got a partly to mostly cloudy sky. There could be a few stray showers possible in northern Indiana. I think it's going to be well north of the metro as I see it right now, and I think that would happen fairly early in the morning. Really, the rest of the state, I think you're looking really good. Temperature-wise, 68. It will be a little breezy, but not like what we've had, with some of these big wound-up storms here. So I'm going to go with a high of 68 for Monday the 6th, and it should be a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Enjoy it. Now, once we get past Monday, this pattern now starts to turn cooler. In fact, probably below average and could be below average for quite some time. So what we call this is a pattern flip. We have been in a very mild pattern overall, right? We've had some chilly spells here and there, but the vast majority of our days for really the better part of a month plus have been not only above average, but well above average. I think we can all agree on that. Now we start to kind of flip to the chilly end of things. So, we stress, even though you flip the calendar to March, winter is far from over. Winter is far from over even when you're in March, all right? So let's jump ahead to Tuesday, the 7th. Morning temperatures into the upper 30s when you wake up. Partly cloudy, should be fairly quiet. Maybe a little breezy, so it's going to feel a little more brisk when you wake up in the morning. Kiddos at the bus stop, it's going to be kind of chilly. Probably looking at wind chills in the upper 20s. I think we'll stay quiet for much of the day. Partly cloudy through Tuesday afternoon, but here's where we struggle, right? Where we've had numbers near 70 on Monday. I don't think we make it to 50 on Tuesday. I'm going with a high of 48 by Tuesday afternoon on the 7th. Let's head Tuesday night. Tuesday night the 7th and into Wednesday morning the 8th. Again, fairly quiet, partly cloudy skies, chilly temperatures. We'll dip down to a low of around 30 degrees. Wednesday should be dry for much of the day. On the 8th, we'll go partly cloudy. Not super windy. We'll just call it breezy. But again, fairly similar to what we're going to have on Tuesday. Wednesday's high on the 8th at 46 degrees. Same thing Wednesday night. You're dipping down to a low of 30 under partly cloudy skies. Thursday, the 9th, also looks fairly quiet. There is some indications that we could get some isolated showers very late Thursday night. We'll keep an eye on that. Thursday, the 9th, a high of 46. Friday will be the chance for our next storm system, kind of like last week when you do these kind of early on. There's one model, the European model, that is going with, again, splitting the state in half with snow for parts of the northern half, rain for the southern half. Again, this is Friday the 10th. The GFS, which is the American model, is swinging more toward a chilly rain during the day, as is the Canadian. Again, you have to kind of take into account how things have evolved over the last several months, that a lot of these storm complexes have moved north, which usually means we're in the warmer sector, which would mean more rain than snow. However, with a pattern flip, that could change the script a little bit here. So I'm going to go rain or snow on Friday, the 10th. And a high of 44. So the one thing that I can tell you is the storm complex doesn't look quite as wound up as the past several that we've had. So while I do think it probably will be breezy as we head into Friday, I don't think it's going to be as windy as what we've had, like wind advisory criteria, as it stands now. Now, could that change? Sure. But the indications are that this system isn't quite as wound up as the last several systems. But some rain, I don't think it's going to be quite as heavy as what we experienced on Friday, thankfully. And we're going to have several days to kind of wring things out because I know we are overly saturated across much of the state here. Saturday, the 11th, just a brief chance for a shower. It doesn't look like there's much really going on there. 47 for your high. Sunday, the 12th, quiet, chilly, partly cloudy, 41 for your high on the 12th. And then Monday, the 13th, I saw it pretty quiet, but still we're in this very chilly pattern under partly cloudy skies and highs around 40. So, again, vast majority of this week, we're now back to below average. Not quite as active, thankfully. Friday's the day that we got to kind of keep an eye on here for rain or snow. A little breezy too, but again, I don't think it's going to be quite as impactful if we can avoid the snow. It won't be quite as impactful as some of the past storms that we've had so far. Just gear up, have that the warmer clothing and attire and coats ready on the ready, because we are absolutely not done with winter just yet. Looks like we might be in for this for the long haul, and that's not only for this week, for the next 8 days, but after the break here, we will talk more about the extended forecast. Look at the 8 to 14 day outlook. We'll also kind of take a peek ahead at precipitation chances and temperatures through the end of the month of March as well. Plus, we'll look at some of the stats for the first few days of the month of March. Already pretty impressive with all the rain that we have picked up early on here. That's coming up next on Weather Week. All right, let's take a look at some of the stats here for the month of March 1st. Precipitation for the month, 2.24 inches of rainfall. That all came in one day. So we are on the plus side of nearly 2 inches. It's 1.83 officially. Since January 1st, so since the beginning of the year, 8.76 inches of rainfall or precipitation. And that factors in a little bit of snow, not much. And we're on the plus end of 2.80 in terms of precip. So we're running pretty soggy here. Snowfall, again, pretty bleak. Month to date, just a trace. We picked that up on Friday. And since July 1st, so for the entirety of the snow season, 8.5 inches of snowfall. We are down 14.2 inches of snow for the entire snow season there. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the next 8 to 14 days. Temperatures, strong signal in the eastern half of the country that we are going to be below average. Obviously, we're going to catch the brunt of that early on here for this week, starting on the 7th. And I just think that trend's going to continue, where there's just a lot of hints here where we are locked into probably the mid 40s, if you will. Just looking at the national blend of models here, which would take us into, so I'm looking at the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, highs in the mid to maybe upper 40s. So not real mild, no significant warm up. And some of the extended models in terms of max temperatures here over the long term doesn't look like we really get back into that mid and upper 50 range until maybe the beginning of next month. Again, that's looking at one particular model here. But I'm using it as an example because that's what a lot of the extended forecasts that we're looking at here. So precip wise, 8 to 14 days below average precipitation, which wouldn't be a horrible thing here for at least the northern half of the state, near normal for the southern half of the state. So that would be a good thing because we are obviously, with some of the heavy rain we've had as of late, overly saturated. The 3 to 4 week outlook. So this would be from the dates of March 18th to the 31st. Again, a pretty decent signal here of below average temperatures. I'm looking here at the percentages, 60 to 70% chance of below average temperatures for really not just our state, the entirety of our state, but much of the Midwest and even the Mid-South. So those of you that are heading down to spring break, the only place that has a good chance of above average temperatures in that time frame, the 3 to 4 week outlook, is central and southern Florida. So if you're heading down there, that's good news. For everybody else, maybe not so good. Precipitation wise, equal chance for either going below or above average in terms of precip. And then the 1 month outlook, again, for the entirety of the month, kind of just reiterating overall, it's going to be a below average pattern for us here in Indiana, and a pretty good chance for above average precipitation. I didn't mention that for the 3 to 4. When you factor in everything there, it does look like a strong signal for above average precip. That will take us to the end of the month. So there you go. Again, keep in mind that sometimes we don't see our last snow until the month of April. So, I know that we've been extremely mild, but we have yet to really feel winter's brunt yet. I'm hoping that we do not. And as we get later and later in the season, the chances obviously are dwindling, but we still have several more weeks to go before we consistently get some mild temperatures in here. So we'll keep you updated on that. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's podcast. Always appreciate your time. We'd love your feedback too. Shoot me an email, marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. You can reach out to me on social media as well. Marcus Bailey Weather, the search item that you have on Facebook, and then at Marcus Bailey, all one word, on Twitter and Instagram will get you to my profiles there. And you can send me a private message or just shoot me a message in general, and would love to try to get back with you there. You can always get our forecast for free anytime, wishtv.com, the new and improved site, may I add. Check it out there. You can also watch our forecast for free on Wish TV, and you can do that on wishtv.com as well. We stream that 24 hours a day, shows replays and all that other stuff. And you can check my forecast out on Daybreak, Monday through Friday, starting at 4 a.m. And lastly, you can always get our forecast plugged in anytime with our free StormTrack 8 weather app. It has been quite handy so far here for the last several weeks with all the wind advisories, some of the severe weather. It is based on your location. So if you're a traveler, for work, you commute a lot, it will update you from based where you're at on some of those weather advisories and watches and warnings and all that stuff. Very, very great tool. Again, thank you so much. Have a great week. And while you're here, make sure to check out all the other great podcasts, all part of the All Indiana Podcast. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.
Discover more from StormTrack 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.